Today we will see the physical design of IoT, or the IoT architecture that we call it. Now, any IoT system comprises of things or devices, right? So because the name itself is IoT, so that means Internet of Things. So it is an Internet of Things or devices as we call them. So the definition of IoT itself reveals that any IoT system comprises of what? It comprises of things or devices which are generating data. Then it consists of a network that transmits that data, and then it consists of services that store that generated data and the data which was transmitted, and then further they process this data. So an IoT system can be said to have these three layers, right? So first of all, you have devices that are generating the data. In order to process data or to gain insight, the generation of data is important first of all. So the first step here is generation of data by the devices. Then we need a network that can transmit that generated data to other devices. And then finally to the cloud. So network that transmits the data. Then the services that will be storing that data and further processing this data to gain useful insights. So an IoT system can be said to have three layers. What are these three layers? Now the first layer in the IoT architecture or in the physical design of IoT is your physical layer. The physical layer is made up of devices, sensors and controllers. So when we talk of these physical layers, we can visualize devices, sensors in those devices and controllers, right? Now they are what make the IoT environment. So precisely the IoT environment is made up of three main important things: the devices, the sensors and the controllers, right? Now devices could be anything. The devices could be your smartphones, they could be your tablets, they could be the laptop devices with microchips. So the devices could range from anything, but the basic things that these devices must have: your sensors and controllers. Now the second is your edge computing layer. Now the storing and processing data near the devices where it is generated rather than the servers which are located far away is called edge computing. Now in contrast to the general storage of data wherein servers are exclusively bought by the organizations which are in a faraway location, in case of IoT, in the edge computing layer, the data is stored and processed near the devices, right? And this location is on the internet, which is actually called the cloud, right? So the edge computing layer defines the networks and communication protocols. So whatever network and communication protocols are to be used, of course, for connectivity, those are defined by the edge computing layer. And then as well as edge computing. Now what is edge computing? That is storing the data on the edge near the devices, that is on the internet, which is called the cloud, and then processing that data. So the processing of IoT data starts at the edge of the network, which is on the cloud, which is what you call the cloud computing, right? Then you have the application layer. So beyond the edge computing layer, action moves to cloud. As I said, that the edge computing layer helps to save the data on the cloud or on the internet. So the application layer is a set of integrated services. Now in most of the cases, application layer always provides services. So here also in case of IoT, the application layer is providing a set of integrated services or combined services which are provided by the IoT cloud, right? Which is the server in case of IoT. So in a layman's language, you can say server on the internet. Server on the internet. So these services are provided by the IoT cloud to gain useful insights. Useful insights, how do you gain through IoT cloud? By processing the data on the cloud. And perspectives, you gain useful insights and perspectives from the data which is gathered and collected in the cloud and then processed. So the data generated by the IoT devices is cleaned. Of course, the first step in big data analytics. Now, after the data has been generated, to gain insights from that data or to process the data, you need to apply big data analytics on that. So the process of big data analytics starts with cleaning the data. That means any data which is erroneous, first of all, will be fixed or removed and then only relevant data will be stored on the cloud servers for further processing, so that you can generate reports and insights. So the businesses can get their own customized applications wherein the data will be filtered as per their requirement, right? And then these applications can be developed on top of the tools which are provided by the cloud service providers. Now, once an IoT ecosystem is set up, new devices can continue to get added to it as per requirement. You have a small organization, lesser devices are added on the IoT ecosystem. The organization grows, so does the requirement for devices. That means new devices can keep getting added to it as per the requirements. So the network should be scalable. Scalable means it should be capable of adding new devices as and when required without compromising on the performance of the network. So the network should be scalable quickly so that it can handle the surge of connected devices. As different types of devices connect over the different types of networks, protocols different to internet are required, right? So depending upon the kind of scenario, kind of conditions, kind of situations, and the requirement, whether it is a short range communication or a long range communication, depending upon those requirements, when the devices are connected, different protocols are used for connecting those devices to the internet. So this is your architecture of IoT, or the physical layer of the IoT.